Hi, I'm Miles. I've had seizures since I was 12. The doctors call it refractory epilepsy, which is just a fancy way of saying meds don't work great for me. That's where Echo comes in. My service dog, my buddy, my lifeline. He's a beautiful German shepherd who can smell a seizure coming before I even know it's happening. Echo, alert! I'd practice with him daily, and he'd paw at my leg, his signal that something was wrong. 3 years together, and he's never been wrong, not once. My parents, though, they've always thought I was exaggerating. Don't you think you're being a little dramatic? Your cousin has epilepsy and he plays football. Diana, my mom, loved comparing me to literally anyone else with my condition. It's all in how you approach it, son. Mind over matter. That was Richard, my dad, who believed willpower could fix anything. I was used to their dismissals, but Echo made life bearable. Last Tuesday, I was working on my online courses when the room started to tilt. Echo was pawing frantically at my leg, but everything went fuzzy before I could get to my emergency meds. When I woke up, I was in County General. The fluorescent lights made my head pound worse than it already did. You had a status seizure, Miles. Multiple seizures without regaining consciousness between them. You've been here 3 days. Dr. Lowell was checking my vitals as he spoke. Where's Echo? Did anyone bring him? My throat felt like sandpaper. I haven't seen any dog, just your parents. Speaking of the devil, Diana and Richard walked in right then, all concerned faces for the doctor's benefit. Oh, thank God you're awake. We've been so worried. Diana patted my hand like I was 5. I spent another 2 days in the hospital before they discharged me. The whole ride home, all I could think about was seeing Echo. But when we pulled into the driveway of our suburban house, something felt wrong. Usually Echo would be at the window, watching for me. Where's Echo? I asked as we entered the empty house. Richard and Diana exchanged looks. We need to talk, honey. Diana sat on our beige couch, patting the spot next to her. We found Echo a new home, Richard said, not even bothering to sit. A nice family with kids. You what? I couldn't process what I was hearing. You've been depending on that dog too much. Dr. Thompson said, he's not my doctor. Dr. Lowell prescribed Echo. Well, we got a second opinion. Diana folded her arms. You're being dramatic about your condition. You don't need a service dog following you everywhere. You sold my medical equipment. That's what Echo is. Don't be ridiculous. He's just a pet and an expensive one. Richard checked his watch. The Bradleys gave us a fair price. My legs gave out and I collapsed onto the couch. They sold Echo. While I was in the hospital fighting for my life, they sold the one thing keeping me alive. How could you do this? My voice was barely a whisper. You'll thank us later, Diana said, actually believing it. This dependency wasn't healthy. I looked at their smug, self-satisfied faces and felt something break inside me. These weren't parents. These were strangers who just signed my potential death warrant and called it tough love. I'll never forgive you for this, I said. Never. You'll get over it, Richard said, walking away like he'd just commented on the weather. I confronted them again at breakfast. I need the Bradleys' contact information. Echo is medical equipment, not a pet. Diana sipped her coffee. We're not giving you their information. They paid good money. How much? How much was my life worth? Don't be so dramatic. $4,000. $4,000? His training cost $15,000. Richard folded his newspaper. We had expenses. Your hospital stay isn't free. I have insurance. My service dog was covered too. Well, we already spent it. End of discussion. I stormed out and called Dr. Chen from the bus stop. They did what? Her normally calm voice rose sharply. Miles, that's completely unacceptable. Service dogs are medical equipment. They said they consulted with Dr. Thompson. The GP? He has no authority over your neurological care. Come to my office immediately. Later in her office, Dr. Chen typed furiously, I'm filing a report. This is medical neglect. Your seizures are life-threatening and Echo is prescribed for a reason. She looked up. Do you have somewhere safe to stay? Not really. What about your aunt, Eliza? Aunt Eliza was my mom's estranged sister. I haven't seen her in years. Call her. Trust me. I explained everything to Aunt Eliza, who immediately said, pack your things, you're staying with me. That evening at her apartment, she handed me tea. Did you know they've been telling everyone your seizures are just panic attacks? What? Who told you that? Everyone. The whole family thinks you're just anxious. I believed it too, until I saw you have a seizure at Tommy's wedding. The betrayal cut deeper. Not just selling Echo, but lying about my condition. With Aunt Eliza's help, I started building my case. Dr. Chen provided my complete medical history. I applied for emergency assistance and started the process for legal independence. Finding the Bradleys took detective work. I searched New German Shepherd in local groups and eventually saw him. Echo with a smiling man captioned, "Meet the newest member of our family. Bradley boys couldn't be happier." His profile was public. Jake Bradley, works at Summit Engineering. I messaged him, "That dog you recently bought is actually my trained service dog. My parents sold him without my knowledge while I was hospitalized. I can prove he's mine." 20 minutes later, my phone rang. "This is Jake Bradley. We've been calling him Max." "Please," my voice cracked. "He's the only thing keeping me alive. How do I know you're telling the truth?" "I have all his paperwork, training certificates, and medical documentation. Echo has a microchip registered to me. I need to think about this. My kids have already bonded with him. Without him, I could die." A pause. "Coffee tomorrow. Bring your documentation." I looked at Annalisa. He agreed to meet. "Good," she said firmly. "Now we make your parents pay." I arrived at Riverdale Coffee Shop clutching my documentation folder. When Jake walked in with Echo, my heart nearly stopped. The moment Echo saw me, he lunged forward, whining and pulling toward me. "Whoa, easy, Max!" Jake struggled to hold him back. Echo immediately pressed against my legs, then stood and placed his paws on my chest, his seizure alert position. He recognizes me. That's his alert behavior. Jake looked concerned but sat down. "My boys are attached to him. Tyler's only 7 and he sleeps in his room every night." I spread out my evidence, medical records, training certification, photos, and microchip registration. "I understand, but without him I could die. These hospital reports show my last episode was status epilepticus, potentially fatal. I paid your parents $4,500. They said their son was going to college and couldn't take care of him. I was in the hospital when they sold him. Suddenly the lights seemed too bright. My hands started tingling. I think I'm going to..." The world tilted. I was vaguely aware of falling, of Echo barking frantically. When I came to, Echo was licking my face and Jake was on the phone with 911. "No ambulance," I mumbled. "This happens." Jake hung up reluctantly. "He went crazy right before you fell, barking, pawing at you. That's what he's trained for. He smells chemical changes before a seizure." Jake's expression changed completely. "If you'd been alone, I could have hit my head, choked, had another seizure right after. He helped me to a booth. Your parents sold your medical alert dog while you were hospitalized? They've convinced everyone my condition is exaggerated. What if we could get them to admit it, on record?" That afternoon we met with Annalisa. Echo wouldn't leave my side. "We need to trap them into confessing," Jake explained. "I could contact them, say I'm having second thoughts." "They'll just lie again," Annalisa said. "What about my grandparents' anniversary next weekend? Everyone will be there." "Perfect," Jake nodded. "I'll show up with Echo, claiming there's a problem. They'll have to explain themselves in front of everyone." "I filed for your legal independence," Annalisa added. "Dr. Chen's affidavit is damning. She's documented every instance where they minimized your condition." "Will that be enough? With the recording we'll get? Absolutely." I called Dr. Chen that evening about our plan. "I've prepared a complete assessment," she said. "It details why Echo is necessary and how removal constitutes medical endangerment. This isn't just about getting your dog back, Miles. It's about making sure they can never hurt you again." For the first time since finding Echo gone, I felt hope. The people who should have protected me had betrayed me instead, but I'd found new allies. "They think I'm being dramatic," I told Echo, who hadn't left my side. "Let's show them what dramatic really looks like." Grandma and Grandpa's 40th anniversary party was in full swing at their backyard. I walked in with Annalisa, heart pounding. Everyone was there, Uncle Tim, Cousin Sarah, even Great-Aunt Mildred, who never leaves her house. "There's my grandson!" Grandpa pulled me into a hug. "You feeling better? Your mom said you had another one of your spells." "Spells? Is that what they're calling potentially fatal seizures now?" Grandma frowned. "Diana told us it was just anxiety." "It's never been anxiety. I have refractory epilepsy." Diana spotted me from across the yard and hurried over, Richard trailing behind. "Miles, we've been worried sick. You can't just disappear for days." Strange time to start worrying about my safety, isn't it? "Don't make a scene," Richard hissed. "It's your grandparents' day." "You're right. Let's not make a scene." I nodded toward the gate where Jake had just arrived with Echo, Diana's face drained of color. "What is he doing here?" Echo bolted straight for me, tail wagging furiously. The entire party stopped to watch. "Isn't that Miles' dog?" Uncle Tim asked. "Thought you said he ran away?" "There seems to be some confusion," Jake announced. "I purchased this dog from Richard and Diana 2 weeks ago. They said their son was going to college and couldn't keep him." "College?" Cousin Sarah looked confused. "But Miles was in the hospital." "Exactly," I said. "I was unconscious in County General while they sold my medical alert service dog." A horrified murmur spread through the gathering. "That's ridiculous," Diana laughed nervously. "You're being dramatic again." "Am I? Let's hear what you said yesterday." I pulled out my phone and hit play. Jake's voice came through clearly. "I'm having second thoughts about the dog. My son mentioned seeing medical tags on his collar." Then Diana's voice. "Those are just for show. Miles thinks he needs a service dog, but it's all in his head. His doctor even said so." Richard's voice followed. "We did him a favor. Kid needs to toughen up, not rely on a dog. We needed the money more than he needed the dog." Absolute silence fell over the party. "That's edited," Richard sputtered. "I also have these," I said, handing documents to Grandpa. "Dr. Chen's medical assessment confirming Echo is necessary medical equipment, police reports for theft and sale of medical equipment, and the court order granting me emergency emancipation." "You ungrateful little—" Richard lunged toward me, but Uncle Tim and Jake stepped between us. "I think you both should leave," Grandma said coldly to my parents. "Mom," Diana protested. "I said leave, now." As they skulked away, Dr. Chen arrived right on cue. "Sorry I'm late," she announced. "I was filing the final paperwork." "Miles, it's official. The court approved the emergency protective order. They can't come near you or Echo." 3 months later, my parents were convicted of medical endangerment and theft. They lost their jobs when the story hit local news. No one in the family speaks to them anymore. I live with Aunt Eliza now, finishing high school online. Echo hasn't left my side since that day at the coffee shop. Diana sent a tearful apology letter last week. I tore it up without reading past the first line. Some betrayals can never be forgiven. "Come on, Echo," I said, throwing his favorite ball across Aunt Eliza's yard. "We've got better things to do. Would you have torn up the apology letter like Miles did? Or do you believe some family betrayals deserve a second chance, even when they put your life at risk? Have you ever had someone close to you dismiss or minimize your medical condition? What did you do about it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story of justice served, hit that like button and subscribe for more revenge stories where toxic people finally get what they deserve. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next satisfying story.